5 years, let's say, have you been sitting there faced with a new system build and been like, oh, if only there was a case that was for me, or did this certain thing,
100%.
or you're like, okay, I want a white case. I want it in this form factor. I'd like it to have these features. You're like, okay, so I've narrowed it down to 50 options.
Yeah. So
there are a lot of case options and a lot of great cases. So we're not sitting here in desperate need of a case to do a certain thing. It's cool when, you know, some sort of innovation comes along and you're like, wow, I didn't know I needed this in my life, or that's a cool thing. That's nice, but yeah, not sitting there like we are with GPUs thinking, hey, it'd be great if GPUs did this and were available at this price, or available at the advertised price, and you know, it'd be good if we had more variety of, I don't know, CPUs or something like that. And
it's a mass market product now. There are so many of them, so many options. It's a commodity, and so
it's been well refined. There's plenty of great options, so that's that.
Have you been able to talk to any vendors about AMD's next CPU and if it will be on AM5? Tim has said he has his doubts. I think it's firming more towards that Zen 6 will be on AM5, just from speaking to various people in the industry. While AMD still hasn't confirmed and committed to that, which I would very much like to see just to remove ambiguity. I think that would improve, or at least allow people to buy into the AM5 platform, knowing that there will be a future CPU on that platform. But I think it's like 90 to 95% likely that Zen 6 will be on AM5, which I think is a good position to be in. So at this point, I would be very surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, well, that's been my opinion from the start, but I've certainly understood your hesitation there, because it's a huge win for them. I guess you could say that it's not really a win they desperately need at this point in time.
No, I mean, they're smashing the CPU market. They're doing pretty much everything right, so.
Which is the problem, which is great for them, and it's great to have good CPUs, and I think overall the CPU market's quite healthy. But you are seeing a change there from when they were the underdog and struggling to compete. They were very transparent. There were lots of community posts. There was lots of stuff talking about Ryzen's development, what they're working on, and now it's a bit more radio silence on that front, and they're not having to give away as much information or act like they're the good guys, and you know, they're trying to do the right thing by the community. Now they just, it's more what you'd expect from a company, really, the way they're operating. So yeah, that's what we sort of have said all along, that would happen. They only appear to be your best buddy when they desperately need your money, but when you're buying their stuff anyway, then it's like, yeah. Finally, a big thank you to G-Skill and Trikes for helping to make our Computex trip possible this year. G-Skill offers an amazing range of DDR5 memory with AMD Expo support, allowing you to get the most out of your Ryzen processor, and we've been using their Trident Z5 Neo memory in our test systems for years now, as we rely on it to get the best results. We've also started using Trikes coolers, and I've got to say the Panorama SE 360 Black is one of the best looking AIOs I've ever seen. The quality of the rotatable display is incredible, and as complex as the design appears, it's remarkably quick and easy to install. So for more information, please check the links in the video description. Alright, that does it for our Computex Q&A series. Of course, we'll be back next month in Australia doing the typical Q&A related stuff. Yeah, this was a nice break. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this pretty much wraps up our Computex coverage. Like, this is the very last thing that we're filming, so I don't know whether or not we'll publish stuff after that, but it's nice to get back and just have a chat about all the stuff that we've seen, a lot of the hot topics that you guys have been talking about. So I always enjoy the Computex Q&As. It always feels like there's a lot to talk about around these shows. So thanks to everyone that's asked a question. We've got Patreon, obviously. If you're watching at this point in the video, you probably know the drill. Patreon, you get cool benefits and perks and that sort of thing. There's the other Q&A episodes you can watch as well if you're interested in more discussion. And we've got the podcast as well. We've made some podcasts here at Computex, further discussion on some of the things that have been happening around, you know, NVIDIA, AMD GPUs. We've had some chats with other creators as well. So you will have seen some or all of that on the channels.
Yeah, the Hardware Box podcast, it's on YouTube. Go sign up to it. We have weekly discussions and stuff, and yeah, a lot of cool guests on. So you want to be subscribed to that as well. Go do it now.
Now, you have to. It's a requirement.
All right, now that you've done that, I'm your host, Steve.
I'm your host, Tim.
See you next time.
PM available? Motherboard PM? I'm Steve. Good to meet you.
Are you doing like
Good. We are recording. We're not live streaming. Hey,
Hi.
I'm Steve.
Steve?
Good to
Hey.
meet you. Do you have time to talk about what's going on with the motherboards and X3D?
Yes.
Can we film it? Can we talk on camera?
Can we talk first?
We can talk first, as
Yeah.
long as I can put it on record.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Lead the way.
Let's invite our RPD
Yeah.
one here.
Hey.
Steve.
Good to meet you. I'm Steve.
需要吗？我应该
In the time since our last update on the situation, we've seen continual posts from the community about more failures. It really hasn't stopped. ASRock posted an update back in March on the 25th that we found to be unclear, misleading, and of zero value. ASRock's update stated, quote, a retrieved motherboard was in a system where the CPU showed burn damage. When inspecting this motherboard, we found that the motherboard does not have obvious damage nor burn marks around the VRM area. Measurements of the motherboard are also within spec. After cleaning and removing debris from the socket without further repair, the motherboard can boot up successfully with original onboard BIOS. It also passed long-term stress tests. The release of BIOS 3.20 is not related to the CPU damage issue. All BIOS versions, including earlier iterations, will not cause CPU damage, end quote. In the time between that post and now, ASRock pulled BIOS version 3.20 on several of its pages. While we were at Computex, the company released a new BIOS called 3.25. The downside of releasing a major BIOS like this during a trade show is that we didn't have access to our lab to validate ASRock's claims that 3.25 fixes the problem, seeing as we were already in Taiwan. As for that blog post back in March, we think it was written in an intentionally misleading way. It effectively read like, after the thorough cleaning of the socket, everything was good. And we really don't think it's that simple. More accurately, removing the melted pad pieces from the socket, which was partially caused by the socket in some capacity, that allowed the board to continue functioning. But ASRock